Yeah, Greg asked for a little bit less reverb in his mic, and we're like, the reverb in this room doesn't have a knob to turn it down.
It's just, unless we go stick a bunch of egg cartons to the back wall.
Eggcrates.com. It's a real thing.
It's a real thing.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Now it's you. From live atop Monteagle Mountain in beautiful Tennessee, Music City Roots is on the air. Woo! Welcome. I'm John Walker. We've got a wonderful show for you. It's been our tradition to come back here annually to beautiful Monteagle Sunday School Assembly. It's a beautiful June night in the barn, and it's time to get the music started. Our musical host for the evening, please welcome Mr. Greg Hall. This guy's such a regular up here on the mountain that they're about to name a sandwich after him at Jim Oliver's Smokehouse. That's a pretty big honor.
So, hello, John Walker. How are you?
I am well, my friend.
It is wonderful to be back. Hello, y'all. How are you? Welcome. I get to introduce you now, don't I, Craig?
Give us a song first.
Give us a song first?
All
Okay. Well, it's wonderful to be here. I played Ohio last week, and I went to Amish country, and I met some Amish alcoholics. And I got to tell you, when they fall off the wagon, they fall off the wagon. The wonderful Devin O'Day for WSM, she and I wrote this song, and I'm going to open up with it. I'm learning to fly in a brand new piece of sky. One I don't know, but I'm still gonna go and I'm still gonna try. I know I may fall, and no one may care at all. Even wrong can be right when you're learning to fly. I got a million reasons I could say no, and most are excuses, and most of them old. And these are the fears that break a soul. Let them go. Let them go. I'm learning to fly in a brand new piece of sky. One I don't know, but I'm still gonna go and I'm still gonna try. I know I may fall, and no one may care at all. Even wrong can be right when you're learning to fly. Well, I knew the truth when I was a kid, but somehow I lost it when the world stepped in. Now it takes what it takes to get home, to get home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home. Sometimes I hang on by a thin thread. Sometimes it's a glorious ride. On the wind, across a canyon, I'm carried by love every time. I'm learning to fly in a brand new piece of sky. One I don't know, but I'm still gonna go and I'm still gonna try. I know I may fall, and no one may care at all. Even wrong can be right when you're learning to fly. I know I may fall, and no one may care at all. Even wrong can be right when you're learning to fly. Thank you. Thank you. It's wonderful, wonderful to be here. I have a long history in this area, and we'll talk about that later, but I get to introduce you now. By the way, you have a scratch on your chin. And you're the reason Mayor Brightly banned scooters today, aren't you?
Yeah, so here's what happened. On Wednesday, I wrecked a scooter and smashed my face, and then today the mayor banned them from the city. Coincidence? I think not. I was the last straw. I called the mayor was the first guy I called, actually. It's like, Riley, get these things out of here. They're dangerous. People can't be trusted with these. If I can't ride them, nobody can.
You know, I never got to ride one of those, and that's probably good.
It's too late.
I know this gentleman as someone, I hate to tell our age, but for the last 10 or 20 years, every artist who came to Nashville wanted a journalist named Craig Havighurst to write an article about them. Put your hands together for Craig Havighurst.
That's very sweet, Greg. Hi. It's not true, but it's very sweet. Welcome, welcome. It's so good to see you. It's so good to be on stage and presenting Music City Roots at Monteagle for the 5th year. Lovely night, lovely venue as always, and lovely company. So thanks for being part of it. Greg is going to be doing a full set a little bit later. He's one of our featured artists in the 3rd set, and let me tell you about the others. It's a sampler platter from Nashville, Tennessee, in a rather intimate kind of a setting tonight. A lot of acoustic acts and songwriter kind of oriented stuff. Going to be starting off. Well, I'm not going to tell you about the first one because Greg actually gets to formally introduce the one and only. But we're going to be hearing from an artist who hit us very hard with some rock and roll a few years ago when we were at the Loveless Barn. I think tonight's going to be a little more low-key, but you never know about Luella. Luella's here. Give her a big round of applause in case she's back there and wants to hear that life-affirming sort of sound. As I said, Greg will be up in the 3rd set, and then wrapping up the night, an artist who I fell for when I was back at the Tennessean 20 years ago, a young woman who was the native of Nashville and was singing jazz like nobody else in the city, and learned that she wrote a lot of her own stuff. And in recent years, she's paired up with a wonderful fella who's a great guitar player, and they have gotten married, and it's all just a very beautiful thing. Annie Sellick and Pat Bergeson will be here later on. They were here 2 years ago, 3 years ago. We love them. And I think we're about ready to get on with the show. They're consulting over important Detroit matters. Greg, let us know about Bill. Do you have your little notes?
No, I
Oh,
don't.
yeah, you better take them, man. Don't get anything wrong.
And they're just wonderful, and I'd heard of Bill Davis for a long time, and I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about him. He's an old friend of the show. He and his wife, Melanie, have been to more Music City Roots shows than almost anyone. He's been an ambassador of goodwill, and he's a veteran of the Music City Roots stage as well. He's a wonderful singer-songwriter with a love of vintage music and a feel as up-to-date as the East Nashville scene. We are pleased to welcome him to the Monteagle Roots stage. Put your hands together for Bill and Melanie Davis.
Suppose I should plug it in. Somewhere, I hope that there is a napkin I could use. I'd like to clean this up before you get back in the room. I spilled some coffee on your Davenport. I guess we can't have nice things anymore. I thought that I was cool, yeah, I was sure that I was in control. No food to drink in that room anymore. Plastic cover on your Davenport. We thought that I was good, yeah, we were sure that I was in control. Do you know how it feels when everyone sneers at you? 'Cause they can't eat in the living room. if you could even call that living. They got a room that's just for dining now. Don't put your coffee on the table till the cloth is down. And if you do, be careful, 'cause the stains won't come out. You see, my friend, that tablecloth is linen, and it's the last nice thing we own. I should go, I really should go. I should apologize again, and then I really should go back to the world of bumper bowling, water wings and sippy cups, where everything is foolproof and nobody screws up, because I really don't belong here. I can't do nothing right. I'm sorry about your Davenport. Tell your wife I said goodnight. Thank you, folks. It's a pleasure to be here. My name's Bill Davis. I'm the one and only Bill Davis, not to be confused with the hundreds and hundreds of other Bill Davises you may meet in your lifetime. And this is my beautiful wife, Melanie, my partner in crime. And we're going to do that last song is off my first EP. It's called Davenport, which is basically a couch for those of you who aren't familiar, or a sofa, or a Chesterfield, or whatever you have for a weird name you call one. This next song is called The Proposal because it's how I proposed to this lovely lady. I told the band that it was going to be an instrumental, and I lied. And so we had a 15-person band to embarrass her, and but she said yes. So, and now she'll even play the song with me. So here goes. I gave it thought, I gave it time, now I'm giving notice. I've made up my mind, and I plan to ask for an answer, but I have to ask for her hand first. So I'll state my claim, and I'll stand my ground, and I'll make it clear that I'm sticking around, and I'm in this thing for the long haul, and it's all for one and one for all. And one will provide, we will prosper, and hopefully our kids will look just like her, and I will put food on the table, and I promise I won't keep score, and I'll work as long as I'm able to ensure that she never has to go without. I'll never sow the seed of doubt. I'll give it all that I have to give, and love her for as long as I live. We'll face each day standing together, and I'll encourage her every endeavor, and there may be speed bumps we'll roll right over, and as we grow older we'll only grow closer, and we'll have a life that is stable. We'll have a home that's secure. We'll have a love that is able to endure, and we'll never have to go without. I'll never sow the seed of doubt. Give it all that I have to give, and love her for as long as I live. she never has to go without. I'll never sow the seed of doubt. I'll give it all that I have to give and love her for as long as I live. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, folks. If you like that, you can hear how it went down live. It's on the second EP I did, both of which I was lucky enough to record at RCA Studio B, which is like recording in a museum. So that was really neat, and I got all the old guys who worked at RCA B to master it for me, and so it was pretty neat. It was kind of like a time warp. Sort of like this place, if you don't mind me saying. It's a very pleasant time warp. This is incredible. It's like Norman Rockwell just finished painting it. It's really beautiful. All right, moving on. Ye old set list. I'm gonna try out, I hope this is okay with you, but I've got 2 new songs I want to try out tonight. And I've never really done these before, so I hope you like them. I think this is going to be what I'm going to record next. This next one is dedicated to my buddy Kelly, who passed away, and I wrote this in sort of a response to that. So I hope I don't get choked up, but I'm sure we've all felt this way. We'll see. So many things I always thought we'd have the time to get done. And I had dreams and I had schemes and we were gonna have a whole lot of fun. But you finished the race, I'm gonna have to pick up my pace. I had so many more songs, but I waited too long. And now you are gone and I feel like I wasted time. I miss your face and I'll see you in a better place. With my family and friends, you know I won't be sad and lonely again. And I sure will miss this lonely night. Feels like it's never gonna end. I'm all alone without any friends inside, and I wouldn't wish this lonely night on my own worst enemy, 'cause I don't ever want to see anyone this lonely again. This won't be my last terrible night. It won't be the last tears I tried to fight. You're not the first that I cried, not the last one who died. And I'll see you all on the other side, where skies will be bright blue, our pets will be there too. So will everyone we knew. With our family and friends, you know we won't be sad and lonely again. And I'll see you in a better place, where the skies will always be bright blue, our pets will be there too. So will everyone we knew. And I'll lie, just sit and wait till then. I'm missing my good friend, dreaming about that time I'll spend with my family and friends. You know we won't be sad and lonely again. And I sure will miss this lonely night. Feels like it's never gonna end. I'm all alone without any friends inside, and I wouldn't wish this lonely night on my own worst enemy, 'cause I don't ever want to see anyone this lonely again. No, I never ever want to see anyone lonely again. And with our family and friends, you know we won't be sad and lonely again. Thank you very much. All right, what do you say we lighten it up for a second? And this feature my lovely, beautiful wife on what I affectionately call the bongers, what you might incorrectly call the xylophone, but what is actually a glockenspiel. Xylophones are made of wood, and I don't know what bongers really are, so let's just go for it. Ready? I did not write this, but I wish I did. It's right to feel this way about you and try to make you happy when you're blue. It's right to feel the way I do because I love you. It's wrong to say I don't think of you, 'cause when you say these things, it only makes me blue. So give me one kiss and I'll be happy. Just to be with you. Give me a chance to be here because I love you. Give me one kiss and I'll be happy. Just to be with you. Give me a chance to be near you because I love you. Because I love you. Thank you, folks. That's Dave Clark 5, for those who weren't sure. All right. I've got another new one I'd like to try out on you, and I hope you like it. This one, I guess, well, we live in some interesting times right now, and I think it's important to remember that whether you agree with somebody or not, you can handle it with grace. So this is about some people I've observed maybe not doing so. Maybe not, whatever. We'll see. Most of these songs are just me writing advice to myself. People just like to make great excuses for being bad people every day. Everybody's human, and each of us makes a fair share of errors and honest mistakes. It's just part of growing up, and as long as you take responsibility for what you do, integrity will come to you, but trouble's always looming. You need to be wise and keep your eyes wide open so you can recognize the people who are cheating and telling you lies are the ones who haven't figured out exactly what it's all about. Some people just like to make great excuses for getting fired up when they got short fuse. fuses, flying off the handle and losing their grip when they're just holding it together by their fingertips. Going off the rails like a train that's a runaway. As for an apology, you know just what they're gonna say. People just like to make great excuses for being bad people every day. We all have that friend or family member, if you drop their hat, will lose their temper and go on the attack like they don't remember that you're human too, and they don't have a clue what you've been going through. They'll say some awful things, then they'll just pretend they never hurt your feelings and never make amends. The message that it sends is a friendship should end, but don't rush to judge their circumstance. They might deserve a second chance. Some people just like to make great excuses for getting fired up when they got short fuses, flying off the handle and losing their grip when they're just holding it together by their fingertips. Going off the rails like a train that's a runaway. As for an apology, you know just what they're gonna say. People just like to make great excuses for being bad people every day. People just like to make great excuses when deep down inside they know their faults and abuses. When they stretch the truth and everybody loses respect for you for sticking to a story they can see right through. We're all a bunch of dummies, so just accept your fate and try to leave a little early instead of running late. Tread a little lighter, you carry more weight. It's your duty to do what you do the best you can. You know it's true, but people just like to make great excuses for getting fired up when they got short fuses, flying off the handle and losing their grip when they're just holding it together by their fingertips. Going off the rails like a train that's a runaway. As for an apology, you know just what they're gonna say. People just like to make great excuses for being bad people every day. People just like to make great excuses for being bad people every day. Thank you, folks. Thank you very much. I think we have time for one more, if that's right. So we'll do it. Well, it's been a pleasure playing for y'all, and I hope you enjoy. Hope you enjoy. We'll be here the rest of the show, so come say hi. Life is precious, and that is the message in your holy books. You don't really need to read, just open up your eyes and look. Just think about all of the friends you've made and all the love you share. Harboring grudges and seeking revenge won't get you anywhere. Worry about what you haven't got. Your haves will always beat your have-nots. You get what you give, so try to stay positive. And if you do, then you'll be positively glad that you did. And even when you ain't got a pot, you'll give thanks for what you got. Planning's great, but don't procrastinate or you'll get nothing done. Make yourself a list of goals and get them finished one by one. Follow your dreams even if they may seem to be improbable. Brick walls exist to see if you'll persist or if you're stoppable. Listen to the ones who detract. The negativity just distracts. Doing your best will pave the road to success. And once you feel how smooth the ride is, you won't settle for less. It doesn't matter if you're exact, it just matters that you act and accomplish and do all the things that you want to do and make it happen. You're the only one who's stopping you. Don't worry about the when and the how. Forget about them then, this is now. Don't make a wish, make a vow, 'cause wish is only short for anguish. Dreams are eternal, and share them with the world and they can come true. And hope springs eternal, and faith is what your loved ones have in you. So act and accomplish, and do all the things that you want to do. Make it happen, if you're the only one who's stopping you. Don't worry about the when and the how, forget about them, then this is now. Don't make a wish, make a vow, 'cause wish is only short for anguish. My experience is laughter is the greatest medicine. Just a little bit can get you out of any funk you're in. And it's important that we realize it doesn't matter how we're seen through strangers' eyes. All that matters in the end is family and friends. Thank you very much, folks.
Thank you.
Melanie Davis, everybody. Can we mute me?
Give it up for Bill and Melanie Davis. My goodness, that was wonderful. I get the pleasure to toss this show to a wonderful gentleman who was one of the people who let me play Music City Roots the first time a few years ago. He's one of the big cheeses at Roots. Put your hands together for Mr. John Walker.
Thank you. Music City Roots airs on flagship station WMOT out of Murfreesboro in partnership with Middle Tennessee State, 89.5 on your FM dial. And I'm proud to say, although that 100,000 watt signal starts to die out around exit 127, you got up here on top of the mountain, it's coming in strong. So thanks for listening. Thanks to all the folks here at the Monteagle Sunday School Assembly, the Edgeworth Inn. The crew just looks forward to our annual visit here so much. It's a magical place. Somehow you drive through those gates and time goes away, and it's just really a wonderful thing. It's hard to explain unless you've been here. So if you're listening on the radio or on the webcast, maybe next year you can join us in person. It's really quite magical here. A barn built in 1927, and it's just got so much character, and we're just really thrilled to be here. So thanks to all the folks in this community that have been so kind to us and invite us back year after year. Also, hello to a great broadcast guy in the audience tonight, my friend Skip Woolwine, also a great musician and a media guy, connected to several families in the area. Interestingly, a couple of the artists on the show tonight also have family homes in the area, so it's really just a wonderful community. And speaking of which, I'm going to throw it over to the chat room right now, and Mr. Craig Havinghurst has some interviewing to do.
All right, John Walker. My mind has just been going back to a winter night in Nashville of about 2004 or 5, and the former Cafe 123 downtown, and it was snowing outside a little after New Year's Eve, and you and our old friend Justin Thompson were singing together and doing "Baby It's Cold Outside," and the fire was going, and it was one of my indelible memories of Nashville, and that was with Annie Sellick. Please welcome Annie Sellick.
Thank you.
And her man and partner in crime is Pat Bergeson. Say hi to Pat Bergeson. Each with their own Nashville story, and there's too much to get into, but some folks may have seen you a couple years ago when you performed here, but let's just hit, so those who don't know you, clarify that you are a Nashville native.
Yes.
And grew up in town, and then when did you begin to sing jazz in public places, which then carried your life for the next
I
year?
discovered jazz in the jazz mecca of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, when I was a college student studying a major in gerontology. So it was an unlikely happening, but the Murfreesboro scene musically was so welcoming. You could really cut your teeth on jamming and a new style and not feel the pressure of Nashville and its high-level stuff. So that's how I found music and jazz. We had WMOT, it was all jazz at the time, and there was a guy that played every Sunday night at a club that we all liked. He played jazz, and we loved it, and we went, and that's how I got
started. Did you know many
started.
of the standards? Were there certain jazz standard songs that you had grown up knowing and liking, or did you have to kind of go learn the repertoire a bit?
I knew Sweet Georgia Brown because of the Harlem Globetrotters, and I knew You Make Me Feel So Young because of a Geritol commercial that was on television in the 80s. Other than that, I didn't know anything about jazz.
Yeah.
Not a thing.
Well, you pursued a wonderful career, and then hooking up with Pat made a lot of sense. You've played a lot of different styles in your life, so jazz is only one of the ways you play guitar. And one of your cool points of your story is that you met Chet Atkins, who encouraged you to come to Nashville. And not everybody can say that Chet Atkins invited them to come to Nashville.
I was very, very lucky and very fortunate, and of course I'm still very grateful. Yesterday would have been his 95th birthday, June 20th. Happy birthday, Chet.
The greatest guitarist ever.
Yes, I wouldn't be here in this town here if it wasn't for not Monteagle, but in Nashville if it wasn't for Chet Atkins. And I'm very grateful to him.
Tell us a little bit about how the city opened up, and it's a great guitar town. It's been called Guitar Town, and the pickers, the studio pickers, are some of the famous ones of Vince Gills, who are great players in addition to being artists. It is a great place for guitarists. What did that feel like?
What did it feel like? I mean, when I first moved here?
Yeah.
Oh, it was incredibly intimidating. Of course, there was guys like Brent Mason and Vince Gill and Steve Warner and all these guys. And of course, I'm hanging around with Chet and traveling on the road with him. And at the time, I really I couldn't believe it was happening. Yeah. Really, it just didn't seem real. But yeah, it was a great feeling, though, to be, having him take me under his wing and show me around and introduce me to people, and it did a huge boost for my confidence, and he came along at a great time when I really needed it. He really helped me out in a really big way.
Cool.
But yeah,
And Annie, as you guys began making music together and figure out what the repertoire is, what the style is, what you want to do.
Making more than just music
Yeah,
together.
well, what did you guys what did you feel like you wanted the Annie and Pat show to be about musically?
The thing I liked about Pat, and I met him at Cafe 123 where the snow was falling and the fire was going and the whole thing, was that Pat wasn't just a straight-ahead jazz musician, that he would bring something to standards that almost opened it up for other, like people who don't listen to jazz all the time, to like it. And so I hired him because I wanted him to help me treat standards in a way that wasn't just purist jazz. And so we've been doing that, and our set is very much jazz-based, but it's very rootsy too, so it's appropriate for the Roots show.
And you guys do these wonderful tours with Tommy Emmanuel, who's one of the great virtuosos. The guy fills the Ryman in big places, and it's been a little bit of a package show, a big sort of wonderful. Started as a Christmas thing, I believe. So what have those been like? Just before we wrap up.
That was really, really fun. Yeah, we had a blast. We did it for 3 years with Tommy. Tommy and John Knowles, the great John Knowles, and Tommy was just very great, and having Annie and I out there with him. And we had a 4-piece group with 3 guitars and Annie as the front person, and we toured all over the country in a bus and played Christmas shows for a month, and it was a blast. It was really fun.
Good. It's so cool when Christmas music can actually be really fun and excellent.
Oh, and we got to hear...
It's not always that way. Well, we'll see you play later on, and thanks for being part of the show again. Annie and Pat, they'll be back out here in just a little bit. All right. Now, I get to introduce our musical host turned performer for the night. And, when he walked into our world a few years ago, it was kind of hard to believe the premise was a bit of a stretch. He's an Americana songwriter and a professional comedian. Because you have to understand that most Americana songwriters, many of them actually have a hard time saying their own name on stage, or landing a joke is just not really in the wheelhouse of a lot of Americana artists. They'll do their songs and say thank you, and they kind of move on. But this guy is genuinely a terrific, heart-rending songwriter and a super funny human, and he is Greg Hall. Make him welcome, folks. Before you start, Greg, I want to point out that you've got a brand new record. I know you'll tell him about your brand new record, but he's got a brand new album. It's here tonight, and you were telling me just a minute ago about recording this thing with the Studio A-Team guys and being surrounded by musicians that kind of blew your mind, and I get that.
Yeah, I had done 4 albums previously that had sold over 9 dozen copies globally, and I had played with some tremendous people, but I had never been in a room with Nashville A-Team studio musicians, and it was mind-altering spectacular. They were just wonderful, and I'm proud to have the guys and gals who played on the CD.
Let's hear some of that stuff. Greg Hall, ladies and gentlemen. Make him welcome.
Well, that's pretty. I'm glad that I grew up with John Wayne and Julie Andrews and Marvin Gaye and the Eagles instead of Maury Povich, Kim Kardashian, Justin Bieber, and Lil Wayne. And this song may reflect that. Even heathens, when I was growing up, had a modicum of politeness. And some elevator doors opened, and everyone knows that you let people come out of the elevator before you rush into it. And I was playing this resort, and the elevator doors opened, and just a dozen people rushed in. And I just thought, wow, no one says excuse me anymore. And that's this song. And that's it. Thank you. Thank you. No one says excuse me anymore. Work's become a 4-letter word. We don't say please or thank you or open up a door. And no one says excuse me anymore. Well, I'm sounding like an old cranky man, but I grew up on Floyd and Steely Dan. And I never thought I'd say, these kids today, but no one says excuse me anymore. I recall when I was young, prayers were read and hymns were sung. That's what we thought church and school were for. But now we put God on a shelf. It's everybody for himself, and the golden rule got swept right out the door. No one says excuse me anymore. Since Main Street got replaced by the Superstore, we're all too busy buying things we can't afford. And no one says excuse me anymore. Back in World War II, my grandpa fought on Guam. And my neighbor lost his foot in Desert Storm. So excuse me if I ask you, what were they fighting for? If no one says excuse me anymore. I recall when I was young, prayers were read and hymns were sung. That's what we thought church and school were for. Somehow we lost the human touch. We come so far and lost so much. And I can't help but wonder what's in store. When no one says excuse me anymore. When no one says excuse me anymore. I'm going to do an old song of mine, not too old, it's on this new album, and we are in Grundy County, right? I co-wrote this song. Clap it on, bring on the clap. I wrote this song with the late, great Rich Fagan, who wrote the Grundy County auction song for John Michael Montgomery. So this place is, between Fiery Gizzard and All Saints Chapel, this place has always held a keen place in my heart, but this is called Someday. Well, you don't drink anymore, and I don't drink any less. It's not like it was before. Maybe it's all for the best. I know you're ready to leave. I'm not gonna beg you to stay. This time it's not about me, and I won't stand in your way. I'll let you go and hide this hurt with a smile. At least I'm lucky to know you were mine for a while. And someday I'll get it all together, become the man you want me to be. And someday I'll turn my life around, and then you'll see. And maybe when I do, someday you'll come back to me. Well, I know you'll be all right. Somehow you've always been strong. Finally seeing tonight what a fool I've been all along. And I should have known when we met I couldn't keep living this way. Now love is so much more than a word. It's being willing to change. And it's not easy watching you walk away. And it's too late to do anything but just pray. And someday I'll get it all together, become the man you want me to be. And someday I'll turn my life around, and then you'll see. Maybe when I do, someday you'll come back to me. Well, go on and be free. I can't complain after all you've given me. And someday I'll get it all together, become the man you want me to be. And someday I'll turn my life around, and then you'll see. And maybe when I do, Someday you'll come back to me. Oh, now, maybe when I do, someday you'll come back to me. Well, for those people in Radio Land, and Ruth and Scott, if I get this kind of wrong, I'm partially close. Okay, how many people live or have properties out here? And just walk down the street? Woo! Well, for those of y'all in Radio Land, the Monteagle Assembly is kind of like the Catskills or something. It's a journey through time, and they teach literature and spirituality and health rejuvenation. And the first home, actually it wasn't home, in 1882, I believe, they had a Sunday school assembly here, and there was not one house out here. And there were 1,000 people in tents who came from all around the country in tents to learn about the curriculum for non-denominational Christian teachings throughout the country. And by 1883, the first cottage was built here, and now there are around, between 1883 and 1930 or something, 160 homes. It may be 160 plus now, but there are around, for those of you in radio and TV land, there are around 160-something homes built between 1883 and the 1930s. And I don't know, when I come here, it is like a time warp to a gentler, more learned place. This is not Walmart. This is awesome. And so it's always a pleasure coming to the Monteagle Assembly. This next song is a new song. You know, alcohol can be a beautiful thing, but some people are allergic. I'm allergic to alcohol. When I drink, I break out in handcuffs and shame, and so I'm not a good drinker. And I mean, if I had a drink tonight, I'd probably pass out and wake up on top of Costco with an accordion, a goat, and a picture of B. Arthur. It would not be pretty. And so I wrote this song a few months ago, and it's on the new album. And all kidding aside, and all levity aside, this is kind of a special song to me. It's called 8 Days Sober. Well, I'm 8 days sober for the 53rd time. I'm scared for my body, scared for my mind. This ain't the life I had outlined for me. My hand stopped shaking yesterday around 3. It's harder coming back than it used to be. Friends and family don't think much of me anymore. And the old man said, son, you sound a lot like me. Back when I was on the drink, you're preaching to the choir, son, 'cause it brought me to my knees back in 93. But now I'm free. Well, I asked the old man if I stood a chance. He said, you got a window if you'll do the dance, but if you don't change your circumstance, you'll dust. Well, I told him I can't take the shame no more. Life's become a revolving door. I never see the street or the store, I just spin. And the old man said, son, you sound a lot like me. When I wanted off the drink, it steals everything you are and everything you'll ever I believed, and now I'm free. I said, now, can you help me find redemption? 'Cause I won't live through this again. I'd like a chance to right some wrongs before my time on this earth ends. And the old man said, son, you sound a lot like me. When I laid it down for keeps, it's the hardest choice you'll ever love, 'cause life gets pretty sweet if you believe you'll be free. Yeah, and I believe you'll be free. Now go be free. It's good to be here. Week before last, I played Arkansas. It was a journey through Darwinism. 1 million people, 10 last names. Their state bird is a goat. What do you do with that? What do you do? I actually love Arkansas, but I did play a place with an 8-tooth minimum, so it was pretty sketchy. I'm going to do an old tune of mine. We dusted this off and put it on the album. And my producer, Luis Espaillat, gathered some of the greatest musicians in the world, and they just, they blistered this. Well, I've cried a river. A broken spirit's gotta be strong. I'm pulling an empty wagon on a trip that's too dang long, but I'll get by. As the sun bakes down on me, I'll get by. Well, since the vodka didn't kill me, then I reckon it ain't my time to die. Yeah, yeah. I can't marry no one, 'cause I'm still in love with you. So I brought the Lord with me to this here cabin in the woods to get by. My heart's still on my sleeve, but I'll get by. 'Cause there's beauty from the ashes, and I'm happy to be alive. Well, I've left some scars like a hellion do. And now each morning I play just to do a little good to get by. He's washed me in his grace, so I'll get by. I got one more now or never, so I might as well enjoy the ride. Yeah, and I feel a good wind blowing, and I'm strapped in and ready to fly. Okay, John, I hadn't shared this with you, but I'm pretty mad. I heard that song, A Horse with No Name, the other day. I've heard it for 40 years. I still don't know what it means, but I learned something. It's called A Horse with No Name. The guy on top of the horse, he had a name. And it said, in the desert, you can't remember your name, for there ain't no one for to give you. That guy could have named the horse. I'm just saying. I mean, this beast of burden is carrying this narcissistic guy across the desert. And after 3 days in the desert, 72 hours. Hadn't given the horse a name yet. After 5 days in the... Name the horse, for gosh sakes, you know? After 9 days, I'm calling PETA. This is awful. On this horse for 9 days. And then what did he just say? Bye. Bye, you. Thanks for saving my life and carrying me across this desert. So anyway, send me your bill for this therapy. I just had to get that off my mind. I'm mad at the horse with no name. He could have named him Larry. Something. And I got a couple of more songs. Got to get out of here in a few minutes. Let's see. I'm going to play. All these songs are on the new album. And I'm going to see what's on the new album. Here's one. I wrote this with a guy named Don Goodman, and Don Goodman wrote Angels Among Us by Alabama, and he wrote Old Red, that song by Blake Shelton and George Jones about that dog, that prison dog. And so Don Goodman and I wrote this, and it's called In Every Life. Bless the children for believing a happy ending lies ahead. When tomorrow brings its sorrow, well, they'll find heartache all by themselves. In every life we laugh, we cry, love blooms and dies. Rain must fall, heaven calls. In every life. Revelation is understanding. Destination's not the goal. Days are pages of people and places, and each year's a chapter when the story's told. In every life we laugh, we cry, love blooms and dies. Rain must fall, heaven calls. In every life. So bless the children, in time they'll find dust and memories are all we leave behind. In every life we laugh, we cry, love blooms and dies. Rain must fall, heaven calls. In every life, in every life. You guys are great. One more? One more? Okay. I could play here all night. Y'all are great. Thanks. Oh, and we got a nice breeze coming in now. This is rocking. This is a song that John. When I first met John, John said, "I like that song," and just a quick story, and I hate to. But the guy Rich Fagan, who wrote Grundy County Auction Song, Richie passed away, and he was in hospice when we wrote this. And Richie had songs on 25 million album sales, and this was the last song Richie Fagan ever got to write, and I got to write it with him. And I thought these were pretty brave words for a guy who knew what was going to happen in about 8 days. And Richie had a faith, and a faith is a great thing to have. And oh, is my house host Lisa here? Lisa, are you out there? Where? Hey, can I borrow 20 to get home? Lisa, thank you for the hospitality. It's a beautiful cottage, and you and Lynn have been wonderful, and we'll see you on the porch when this is over. So this is it's my last tune of the evening. I'd like to thank Music City Roots for being who they are, and I'd like to thank y'all for being who y'all are, and I love coming up here. When you're stumbling through the darkness, or feeling lost and all alone, and when the world is on your shoulders, and it's hard to carry on, when you're drowning in your pain and loneliness, and you feel like giving up, just remember this: love is stronger than your fear. Faith is stronger than your doubt. Light is stronger than the darkness. Don't let your light go out. When you're beaten down and broken, or tangled up in your despair, when you're searching for an answer, you've tried everything but prayer. It's when you need the strength to get down on your knees, and you'll find your miracle if only you believe. That love is stronger than your fear. Faith is stronger than your doubt. Light is stronger than the darkness. Don't let your light go out. It's hard to see heaven when you're staring at the ground. Lay your burden down, and He'll turn it all around. 'Cause love is stronger than your fear. Faith is stronger than your doubt. Light is stronger than the darkness. Don't let your light go out. Don't let your light go out. Thank you, Music City Roots, live from the Assembly. I'm Greg Hall. Good night.
Greg Hall, everybody. Greg Hall. Thank you, Greg. The new album, Available now. Love that last song. He sent me in advance of that one. Beautiful stuff. John, how are you feeling, sir?
I am well, thank you. I'd like to say hello to a good friend and a longtime supporter of Music City Roots, Mr. Bob Forster, and his friend Jim made the trek up the mountain today, and welcome.
Hey, Bob.
First time in the assembly, so good to have you guys with us. Also, I'd like to give a special mention to one of our show producers here tonight, who's got a new member of the family as of Christmas of last year. He's now almost 6 months old, little Rowan Lurgio, son of our producer, AJ. And congrats to them. They're both here today working the show all day. And Rowan was a big help. Thanks to Laney for helping AJ with the little Rowan. And you know you're a true bluegrass fan when you name your son after Peter Rowan. So I think that's pretty cool. Speaking of bluegrass, and AJ's husband is just down the mountain a little bit, also in this very same Grundy County, doing an all weekend long Bluegrass Underground party with Keller Williams. Tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, it's just Keller Williams and friends, a little mini festival going on down in the caverns just off of exit 127 in Pelham, Tennessee. So if you get a chance to visit our sister show, Down Under in the Caverns. It is going on all weekend long. It is a family affair for sure, produced by our partner and friend, Todd Mayo.
The lineup at the Cave these days is just outstanding, always is, but I just checked the website because there's shows galore. They book this thing out. You can check out months. There's amazing shows.
Yeah, it's just absolutely a wonderful labor of love. Speaking of which, I do want to mention, since we're in this illustrious barn that has stood the test of time for nearly 100 years, we are building a barn in Madison, Tennessee, soon to break ground, hopefully this year, and we've taken some inspiration from this wonderful structure, so hopefully soon we'll be back to broadcasting on a weekly basis like we did for so many years. 10-year anniversary this October, by the way,
oh my
Craig.
God.
Since the first Music City Roots, really something. And
Can we get it
built
built
to
by
see
October,
some of the
John?
crew together. What's that?
Can we get it built by October? Probably not.
I would love to say yes, but
Yeah.
it's being built in God's time, which is never our time, but always right on time. I'm saying that, but I want it done yesterday.
Fingers crossed.
You know. Off to the chat room we go.
Yeah, we got a
Craig,
chat room
take it
right
away.
here. These folks opened the show and did so beautifully with grace, style, and humor. We love them. Bill and Melanie Davis, say hello. At the risk of getting all, of pointing the spotlight on Music City Roots a little too much, you guys have been there just about, maybe from the beginning. I mean, maybe, I don't know if it was the very first show, but right there at the beginning, y'all were there hanging out, welcoming people. I mean, you were kind of our concierges in many ways, and you've been such great champions over the years just by showing up but being so much more than that. Can you talk about your earliest memories of the show and what was going on in your, in your musical lives, in your lives, that was the reason that you just kind of made yourselves part of the hang?
Absolutely. I was, I think our friend Justin Still, Justin, he was like, why haven't you been out there yet? And I was like, well, I've been busy with this or that or the other. And he's like, that's not a good enough answer. When you get out there, you're going to realize that you were too busy for that other stuff. So he was like, come out. I've got tickets for you at Will Call. And we came out, and I think we brought your mom and dad. We brought her mom and dad. They're visiting from Chicago. And we saw Johnny Corndog, the Dexatines, and... what was his name?
If you remember the lineup, that's going to be impressive.
I do. The other guy was, tell me his name. He was the one who plays like on the fit. Frank Fairfield.
Frank Fairfield, old time.
He plays like a 78. Like he's
sounds like a
78.
1929 record. Yep.
And I don't remember the fourth act, but that was pretty good, right?
Still pretty impressive. What do you remember about it all, Melanie?
I was fairly new to Nashville when we started attending Music City Roots, yeah. And what I remember most, honestly, is just how friendly and accommodating and wonderful everybody was, from the artists to the production people to the stage crew. Everybody has just been absolutely phenomenal from the moment we walked in the door. So it was a welcoming family for us, and we have always wanted to return that favor and be proponents of the show and share it with people and bring people in from out of town. And it's been a great opportunity for us to share the best parts of Nashville, really.
Nice. Well, while she's got the microphone, I want you to talk about his music. When you began to realize what it was, his style, and kind of what your perspective on it, and then you've become. I don't think you were part of the act the entire way, or maybe you were. I don't know.
No, I wasn't actually. I started out more as a muse, if you will.
Nice.
And he's written several songs for me, which is terribly flattering and horrifyingly embarrassing, but also beautiful. So we've tried to pin down the genre of music, and it's difficult when you get in on it, because you want to say it's rock and roll, it's country, it's this, it's that. And he has such a blend of different things, lots of different influences, from big band to really classic old country to In Excess, lots of other random things in there. So, and I was singing along to the Grateful Dead one day, and Bill was like, "What is that harmony? I've never heard that." And I didn't know what he was talking about.
Yeah, I thought there was something wrong with our stereo, that I was only hearing one channel, and I was like, I always thought that was more like a blend of, that harmony is incredible.
Right.
And then he came in and realized it was me and made me a part of the show, whether I wanted to or not.
Fantastic.
But we have a great time, and I love doing it, and it's strengthened our relationship in a lot of ways, and exposed me to things that I didn't realize I was really going to enjoy so much.
Cool. Bill, I did say in the advance blog that you've got one foot in the past, one in the present day, but what accounts for your love of classic music, from going back to the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, whether it's early blues, early country music, and even show tune stuff? Where did that really start for you?
Well, I grew up in Wisconsin, a little town called Manitowoc, and it doesn't take long when you live there to realize you'll never be on the cusp of anything hip.
You owned it.
You're not, when you live in Wisconsin, by the time you hear about something, like if MTV knows about it, it's probably not cool anymore, right? And then you find out about it, and you're like, this is so cool, and you're wrong. And so I learned that pretty early on, just by traveling and realizing that, like I was how many years behind, like people weren't still power cuffing their jeans or whatever. And so I realized right away that like there's no sense in that. And also, okay, so that's a sensibility of it. But then the other part is that I really enjoy the older music that I grew up on. My dad would always, I would be riding around with my dad, and we'd be listening to oldies. Anything from Bob Wills and like Sonny James to Moody Blues and things like that. But I always enjoyed all the variation of instruments that creates so much better tone and timbre and everything, and that goes with it. But also all the sincerity that is in the first generation of ideas that come up through people. And I feel like when that happens, you catch something that's a really great slice of reality, and then a bunch of people are like, hey, that works, let's copy it. And then each piece of it is more watered down, less genuine, made for different reasons, all the things that go with it. And so I like to just get down to the root. Like if somebody says, if I like somebody, I'm not going to begrudge them for trying to sound like something else or whatever, but I also curious who they liked, what influenced them, and then I'll go look that up and be like, oh, this is the real deal. And so once you find out what the real deal is, it's like once you've had whole grain mustard and you're like yellow mustard, like, oh yeah.
The mustard theory of music appreciation. No, I get what you're saying. Tell us about your recording background a bit, and what the most recent project is, something that you're proud of, and maybe whether you're about to make something new.
That's what I'm working on right now, is something new. I've been talking with a few people that are interested in helping me record that, and the biggest trick for me has been trying to get my ideas down to reality, where they're not giant. The first time I played Roots, it was a 15-person band.
Yeah, I was going to say, you brought a big old band.
Yeah. And the same thing with the last record I did. We did a live record with a full orchestra, and I think I'd like to take a little more. I think I still like the live idea, but I think I'd like to pare things down and do that. So the songs that you heard tonight that were new are definitely on the list, and I've got about 8 or 10 others that I've been kind of stashing in my back pocket until I thought they were good enough. But I'm also that person who never thinks they're good enough. So I went out on the limb tonight and tried a couple of them. So then, like, you know, people like them now. I'll count them
Forge
done.
ahead.
Call them done.
Well, let's hope you find another studio. There's historic studios across Nashville, many that can find the vibe. Studio A is, or Studio B you mentioned, clearly got its own story. Literally, tourists go through there every day.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Any other place that you aspire to work?
I think if anybody be lying to say they didn't want to record at least one song at Sun Records, I think that would be kind of,
Memphis,
right?
Yep.
Who doesn't want to do that? But there are a lot of great people in Nashville who I think are carrying the torch. My friend Cowboy Keith is a really great recording artist. Daniel Rice is another one of these guys. There's a bunch of guys in town who are really nice, and they got their finger on the pulse of the future as well. And they're also pretty old school, and they kind of have a mixed sensibility like I do. So I don't know who exactly I'm going to do stuff with, or I might do a bunch of stuff with a bunch of guys. I don't really know. I'm kind of, like I said, I think I'm ready to let them push them out of the nest and see where they go. And I think
Very good.
some of them might be more appropriate for other friends to work on than others,
Fair enough, man. We will be there for you, and
Awesome.
can't wait to hear what the new batch of work is. And watch for that name, the one and only Bill Davis. One more time for Bill Davis. Melanie,
Thank you,
thanks
everybody.
for all being here, and we just appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Once again, let me turn you over to a fellow who, well, obviously he's entertaining in many ways, and thanks for a great set of music.
Do what?
I said thanks for a great set of music.
Oh, man, you're
Whatever I say from over here that sounds odd, you just go, yeah, thanks, man, great, awesome, yeah. Greg Hall, everybody.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention Robbie, John, Ryman, Dirk, Gabe, Eric, Jim, Jacob, and AJ, who runs the place, but the rest of the guys are in the sound and video compartment of this, so give them a hand, please. Thank you guys very much. This next act, I heard the guitar player Johnny Duke playing beforehand, and he is a hot dog on it. And Luella is from Wisconsin, and I used to play comedy clubs in Milwaukee and Neenah. But the first time Luella played Music City Roots, it was like lightning bolts hit the Loveless Cafe barn. Folks talked about the set for a long time. She's part folk songwriter, part artsy rocker, and we're never sure which persona will show up. We're very happy she was available to join us on short notice. Please welcome Luella.
All right, hello, welcome. It's nice to be back at Music City Roots. It's a warm family. I've got my dear soul brother, Johnny Duke, here on the guitar with me this evening. And so beautiful out here at Monteagle. I've never been to this little gathering. Johnny's been, I guess he got married or had a reception out here. For his wedding. So beautiful, I want to live here. Quite wilderness, and speaking of wilderness, we're going to start our set with a song called Come Out the Wilderness. I was going to use that. I changed my mind. Tell me, how did it feel when you come out the wilderness? How did it feel when you come out the wilderness? How did it feel when you come out the wilderness and leaning, well, when leaning on the Lord? the wilderness. I feel like shouting. Come out the wilderness. I feel like shouting. Come out the wilderness and lead it. We're leaning on the Lord. Looked at my hands, hands were new. Looked at my feet, and they did too. Started to talk, hit a new dog. Started to walk, hit a new wall. I started to sing, hit a new song. Everybody wondering now what went wrong. I kneel down and pray, hit a new prayer. And that's when I know that my Jesus was there. Come out the wilderness to feel when you come out the wilderness. How did it feel when you come out the wilderness? Leaning, well, we're leaning on the Lord. All right. So I tell everybody now to come out the wilderness. I tell everybody when I come out the wilderness. I tell everybody when I come out the wilderness. And leaning, well, we're leaning on the Lord. Burning when I come out the wilderness. I felt fire burning when I come out the wilderness. I felt fire burning, come out the wilderness. Leaning, well, yes, we're leaning on the Lord. Leaning, yeah, we're leaning on the Lord. Leaning, leaning on the Lord. All right. Purple is my favorite color. That's what's up behind me there. All right. Purple lights, purple everything, purple people. We're going to do a song called Train. It was written by a friend named Buddy Flatt from Shreveport, Louisiana. It's really cool if you can hear him do his version of it too online.
All right.
Train, train, take me with you when you go. Train, train, take me with you when you go. I don't leave me here when I ain't no good no more. Well, doctor, hello, doctor, doctor, take me to the promised land. Well, doctor, hey, doctor, you take me to the promised land. That promised land, that promised land. Well, that streets are paved so gold, well, I can't be with you again. Oh, come on, train. Take me with you when you go. Come on, train, 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 train. Take me with you when you go. Oh, I don't leave me here when I ain't no good no more. All right, all right. We are rolling, just rolling. We rolling down the way road. We are rolling with Johnny, Luella, all of you, Music City Ruts, Eric out there on the bus. We're rolling down the railroad track. I said goodbye to your way. I said goodbye, hey, so long. Hey, y'all, me too. Come on, train. Take me with you when you go. Oh, come on, train, 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 train. Woo! Take me with you when you go. Oh, I don't leave me here when I ain't no good no more. When I ain't no good no more. When I ain't no good no more. When I ain't no good, ain't no good, ain't no good. I ain't no good no more. I ain't no good. Ooh, 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 ooh. Come on, train. Come on, train. Come on, train, train, train. Take me with you. Take me with you. We like the music when it makes us feel good. We want you to feel good. When you feel good, we feel good. When we feel good, you feel good. Take me with you. Take me with you. Train, train. Take me with you. Thank you. I'd like to thank John Walker too for all this, putting all this together, and the very top of it all. And I wanted to say we have some music in the back there. It's very dark, but sometimes the things that you have to work to find are treasures. No, no, but there's a dark corner back there, and there is a table. I think Bill and Melanie have some music, and we have music back there, and you'll see the little setup instructions. We'll carry on with the program. The song is called "When You." There's a helicopter going over. No, it sounds like a helicopter going over. We're going to do a song called "When You Hear of My Home Going."
It's kind of a nice tremolo effect, that helicopter.
Yeah. I don't think I did anything to be arrested for. Like, the cops are coming to take me. This is a song I first learned from Jessie Mae Hemphill from Mississippi, Senatobia, Mississippi. I don't think a lot of people in the growing generation will increasingly not know much about her, but we can try to bring her art to further fruition. This is a service song, and I'd like to dedicate it to anyone who lost somebody and to my sister. When you hear my home going, don't you worry about me. When you hear my home going, don't you worry about me. When you hear my home going, don't want you worry about me. I'm fixed up right now, yes, on my way home. One thing I know, that I've been born again. I made preparation one Friday. Lord, I didn't know when. But when my Lord called me, be my time to go. I'm fixed up right now, yes, on my way home. Sleep on now, sister. Don't you worry about me. Sleep on now, brother. Don't you worry about me. Or sleep on now, mother. Don't want you worry about me. You're just another soldier. Yeah, yes, you're on your way home. Oh, when you hear my home going, Well, don't you worry about me. When you hear my home going, don't you worry about me. Oh, when you hear my home going, don't want you worry about me. I'm just fixed up right now. Yes, 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 sister, yes, on my way home. Yeah, we on our way home sometimes. All right.
That's what I'm talking about.
Thank you. All right, this is a song written by our friend Joe V. McMahon from a band I was in called Luella and the Sun. He wrote this, and it's a song I love to do. Sometimes certain songs kind of fit you and feel like a glove. Irma Thomas had Alan Toussaint writing songs for her. It was kind of explained like that. But I always loved singing the song, and I think I'll continue to enjoy singing it and playing it. So it's called Fly So Free. Pause for the cause.
All right.
Someday I'm gonna fly so free. I'm gonna fly straight up the first star I see, and with the wind in my back, I'm gonna fly so free. Someday I'm gonna sing one of the songs of love. I'm gonna sing it to the valley from the highest bluff. And I'm gonna sing so proud those songs of love. Fly, Johnny. Well, someday I will rest in peace. Gonna lay my body down, lay my body down for a long, long sleep. And when my spirit rises, when my spirit rises up, up, oh Lord, Lord, I'm gonna fly, fly, fly. fly so free. Someday I'm gonna fly. I'm gonna fly so free. I'm gonna fly so free. I fly straight up. The first star I see. And with the wind in my back, I'm gonna fly so free. Yes, I'm gonna fly so. Thank you. Does anyone have a room for rent out here? I don't need a lot. I have it inside, just like your room. Kidding. This song is called Universe in My Heart. It's very special to me. And when I was asked to play this evening, I was a little concerned because I don't have all my new material ready to perform. And some of these songs I have done on this show before, but perhaps in a different period, of my growing incarnation of me. And I thought it's still cool because all these things are like a part of my musical thumbprint and my spiritual thumbprint. And so, and to have them played in a deconstructed way would be kind of fun to be able to do for you. So I'll look forward to being able to show the new music to you. But in the meantime, I would like, I'm very, I feel really happy sharing why these songs are still important to me and having them deconstructed as this. And this particular song especially was written while I was in Luella in the Sun. And when I lost my sister last year or whatever, I was, my other sister and I were putting makeup on her for her homegoing. And it was pretty horrific the way she had to go. But she was so beautiful yet laying there, and you would not have known that. And when my other sister and I were putting makeup on her, this lyrics of this song came into my brain, and it meant something totally new to me, or just it resonated even more. So is what I meant to say with me, and maybe if you hear the words, you'll understand why. And this is our last song. Thank you so much for having us. There is a universe in my heart, has no ending, has no start. No time ticking, only love serene. Fragile body, beautiful machine. There is a light that's binding all. Where blood flows, we will fall. And under bones, we resonate. Frequency determines fate. Light without heat, sublime, blissfully. 3, 4. Heart without beat, sublime, There is a universe beyond my heart. I'll meet you there. I'll do my part. In the eternal, there is no fear. No damaged goods, no wasted tear. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, Luella with Johnny Duke on the guitar. Give it up for him. Fantastic, guys. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Sure. I get to throw this wonderful program now. Y'all having fun, Monteagle? Good. Hey, Lisa and Lynn, are y'all still here? I've got some friends in the audience, Don, Wendy, Christy, Gino. Thank y'all for coming out. Now I get to throw the show to a wonderful man named Mr. John Walker. John, it's all yours.
Thank you. And Greg, before you leave, I understand you have some fresh off the presses copies of your new album here tonight. And it's called Beauty to Ashes. Beauty from Ashes. Yes. Available in the back tonight, all personally autographed by you. If all right. So keep that in mind, folks. I think some of the artists will have merch in the back too at the end of tonight. And we'd like to thank Corner Market for feeding our crew dinner tonight. Brought some great freshly made dinners all the way from Nashville, so we're really appreciative of that. And I want to remind you, for FCC purposes, when this airs on the radio, you are listening to Roots Radio, WMOT 89.5, Murfreesboro, Nashville, pride of Middle Tennessee State University. And here we are, high atop Monteagle Mountain. They tell me a storm may be brewing down below, and somehow I think everything's just fine, and I'm not too worried about it. Craig, what do you think?
The weather rolled through Nashville. It's coming this way. Everybody just hang in there. It's going to rain. Yeah.
Get out your floats.
I started the night by saying it's not raining, and of course I shouldn't have said that.
The music goes on.
Yeah. But
So, again, to correct Craig in the chat room with one of my good friends, take it away, my friend.
let's say a few words with Luella. Let's give her one more round of applause for a terrific set. Nobody sounds like our friend Luella. Your music conjures up a something pre-war, something from the time when, sort of like something that Bessie Smith would have heard when she was young, something a little primal and deeply Southern. Is that fair enough? Is that fair to say? Is there something?
I like that you say primal. That's the point. It means if you can feel it in your gut. I think that's what whether you like it or not, I hope that you feel something. But yeah, I like where it comes from there. I think that sometimes music comes too much from here and not enough sometimes in here, and it should also conjure up feelings that make you feel a lot.
Absolutely. You've been more of a folk singer, but then found a new kind of, I think, a deeper groove, music that had more dynamics and more explosive power, sometime around the time that you first played Music City Roots with us. And can you talk about that transition a little bit and when you discovered?
I don't think I was ever a folk singer, though, but I will. I mean, we are living in Nashville. I don't know what does that mean, Americana.
Singer-songwriter?
I mean, I guess, okay, yeah. When I think of folk singer, I don't know why, but I'm from Milwaukee, so maybe my idea of that comes different. But I like a lot of blues. I like jazz. I like hip hop. I like all kinds of music. But I've always just looked at as you have this big palette full of infinite, paints and colors, so why should you have to choose one? And as long as it resonates with you, you can find a way to put it across authentically. That's my whole point with whatever music I choose to do.
Has Nashville suited you particularly well for that, or is it sometimes a town that you try to, it may be abrasive or may not be exactly the right fit, but that may have an effect in itself? I don't know.
That's interesting. I mean, I wonder if in various places, if people are, to me that question makes me want to say, like, I don't want to always have my goals be set to in-town goals.
Yes.
And people can get caught up in that really easily. Like, I want to play at this club every single week, and that's cool. Like, I did my time of playing several times a week for hours a week, and you definitely develop skills of playing to nobody or a lot of people and learning how to be comfortable no matter what the situation is. But in general, having to do that people can get caught up in that and then not look in the bigger picture. And so I feel like sometimes, because I don't want to sound any kind of negative way, but I don't want to play the politics to just fit in locally. So I don't know. It's not my interest.
Tell us about a favorite city that you feel like.
I love Nashville, though. I've loved it.
No,
the resources
that's
are
not
endless.
to say that you don't, but I mean, tell me about another town, another venue, whether it's London or whether it's Oxford, Mississippi, or whether it's something we would never imagine. where you feel really at home and you've got a crowd and it works?
I do feel at home here, though. I feel at home here. I feel like it does work because I feel like I hope that I'm contributing something rare, and so then it makes an impact. I would like to hope, but I do like playing the Midwest, and I do like playing the East. I like playing the West. I don't know, and I've never been abroad yet, so I don't know. I can't even say about that. But yeah, I mean, I love Nashville. I think the resources are endless, but it does. I don't know. I have no problem with it.
Oh no, hey, I'm not trying to draw you out on that subject. I think that everybody's got a complicated relationship with an amazing city.
It has served me, yeah.
Talk about new stuff, new music, new projects. What's up? What's the cutting edge in your world?
Well, Craig, I saw you at a party. And I was kidding. Side note.
Just a few days ago.
Just kidding.
I did a double take.
I'm just kidding. And I meant to tell you this the other day, but I do have a lot of new music getting ready to come out with my other dear friend, Godfrey Moore. He plays guitar with me a lot also. Sometimes Johnny and him play together, and sometimes it's one or the other. And Godfrey and I have been working on a lot of new material that kind of incorporates a lot of the rawness that I would like to hope that I'm capturing some of the rawness that I had in Luella's song. Like, I like the guitars to be kind of in your face, but then I'm kind of combining some hip-hop elements, listening sonically to a lot of old school hip hop records and that sound, and trying to incorporate them into it and yet still be organic. And I'm really looking forward. I'm getting ready to put an EP out with that. And we haven't quite gotten it ready to play live and figure out how to execute it live. But I'm so excited about it. And my plan is big for it. So I'm going to look forward to sharing it with you.
End of this year?
Oh, for sure. In the next couple months.
It's coming
It's almost
imminently.
done. Yeah.
Speaking of imminent, our friends are getting ready over there.
Yes.
And it was a wonderful time. Just thank you for being part of the night.
Thanks for including
Appreciate
me.
it.
Thank
Luella,
you.
ladies and gentlemen, one more
Thank
time.
you,
Watch for the
Monteagle.
name and watch for the new music this year.
Annie Sellick.
Annie and Pat are center stage. Greg Hall is with us, and we've got one more fantastic set of music before we do a all hands on deck final jam. We're going to kind of throw something together at the end of the night. Greg, you're in charge of that, so how it goes is up to you, of course. But no, it's going to be great.
Thank you, Craig.
One more time with Greg Hall. All right.
Well, first of all, Annie, for such a young person, you were a legend in Nashville 10 years ago. You're one of the greatest jazz singers that has ever landed in Nashville. I mean, you were known for that. You were a legend. And Pat Bergeson, when Chet Atkins tells you to move to town,
Do it.
that's pretty cool. And Pat, I kind of knew a lot about you, but I also Googled. You've played on Lyle Lovett albums, Dolly Parton albums, Johnny Cash albums, and you've recorded with Mark O'Connor and Bela Fleck.
Well, played and toured, but
Played and
not
toured with
recorded.
them?
Close.
Well, I'm very excited about this show. Each of these wonderful people were distinguished Nashville musicians with the immense respect of the jazz community and beyond. Then they fell for one another. You complete me. You complete me. Then they fell for one another, and part of their life together has been doing duo gigs that show off rare touch and taste for songwriting, guitar playing, and singing. They return for their second appearance here at Monteagle Roots. Yes. Please welcome Annie Sellick and Pat Bergeson.
It is so great to be here. Pat and I got married on this mountain in 2008. Yeah, sweet stuff. A stick, a stone, the end of the road. It's a rest of a stump, it's a little alone. It's a sliver of glass. It's life, it's a sun, it is night, it is death, it's a trap, it's a gun. The open blooms, a fox in the rush. Not in the wood, song of the thrush. The wood of the wind, the cliff on fall. A scratch, a lump, it is nothing at all. It's a wind blowing free, it's the end of a slope. It's a beam, it's a ford, it's a hunch, it's a hope. And the riverbank talks of the waters of March. It's the promise of life, the joy in your heart, the foot, the ground, the flesh, and the bone, the heat of the road, slingshot stone. A fish, a flash, a silvery glow. A fighter at the range of a bow. Bed of well, the end of the line. Let me see in the face. get lost. It's a fine atmosphere. I spy, I point, I nail, I chip, I drop. The end of a tale. Truckload of bricks in the soft morning light. Shot of a gun, dead of the night. A mile of must, a thirst, a bump. It's a girl, it's a rhyme, it's a cold, it's a mumps. The plan of the heart, the body in bed, and the car that got stuck in the mud, in the mug, a float, a grip, a flight of wing, a hawk with a promise of spring, and the riverbank talks of the waters of March. It's the end of all strain, it's a joy in your heart. It's a snake and a stick, it is John, it is Joe. It's a phone in your hand, a cut in your toe. A point, a feint, a beat, a bite, a blink, a buzzard. The sudden stroke of night, a sting, a needle, a stain, a pain, a nail, a riddle, a wasp, a stain. The passing longs, a horse and a mule. Distance we share, shadows rule, and the riverbank talks of the waters of March. It's the promise of life in your heart, in your heart. Don't jump, I change. Ding, ding, go, go, gang, 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 butterfly guy. Don't be too Sweet music, soft and mellow, soothing and slow. Strains of a mellow cello when lights are low. Dear, we're so close together. Love you so. Oh, I think about the weather when lights are low. Two hearts repeating and reeling, music hath charms. Oh, life is so appealing, boy, with inspiration in your arms. Ch-cha. Lips meeting soft and tender, love's all aglow. Oh, I think about the weather when lights are low. Two hearts repeating and reeling, music hath charms. Oh, life is so appealing, boy, with inspiration in your arms. Ch-cha. Lips meeting soft and tender love's all aglow. Oh, why should we surrender when lights are low? Cha-cha. Oh, when lights are low. When lights are low. On our way to work one morning, down the path alongside the lake, a tender-hearted woman saw a poor half-frozen snake. His pretty colored skin had been all frosted with the dew. Poor thing, she cried, I'll take you in and I'll take care of you. Take me in, tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, tender woman, side the snake. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. She wrapped him up all cozy in a comforter of silk. She laid him by the fireside, gave him honey, gave him milk. She hurried home from work that night. Soon as she arrived, she found that pretty snake she'd taken in had been revived. Take me in, tender women, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, tender woman, side the snake. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. She clutched him to her bosom. You're so beautiful, she cried. And if I had not brought you in by now, you might have died. She stroked his pretty skin again. She kissed him and held him tight. But instead of saying thanks, that snake gave her a vicious bite. Take me in, tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, tender woman, sign the snake. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum. Pat Bergeson. But I saved you, cried the woman. Now you've bitten me, but why? You know your bite is poisonous. Now I'm gonna die. Oh, shut up, silly woman, said the reptile with a grin. You knew darn well I was a snake before you took me in. Take me in, tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in, tender woman, side the snake. Take me in, tender woman, take me in for heaven's sake. Take me in. The snake. Boom, 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 boom. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum, bum.
Thank you. Annie Sellick, everybody.
I'll play y'all a Bobby Gentry song. She wrote Ode to Billy Joe and this one. Papa, won't you let me go to town with you? Papa, I'm feeling so down the blue. You just gotta come around, please do. Papa, won't you let me go to town with you? Well, there's a blue dress at Dindy's that give the world to see it. I need some hand lotion and some powder from the 5 and 10. I'll buy us some chocolate, make you pretty pie. If you don't let me go, I'll just die. Papa, won't you let me go to town with you? Papa, I'm feeling so down the blue. You just gotta come around, please do. Papa, won't you let me go to town with you? Well, I need a new pattern, ain't always making me a dress. I scrubbed it this morning, what do you mean? This floor's a mess. Done everything you said and some you didn't say to do. You just gotta take me with you. Papa, won't you let me go to town with you? Papa, I'm feeling so down the blue. You just got to come around, please do. Papa, won't you let me go to town with you? Looky, Papa, I found your other Sunday shoe. Shined it and shined it till it looks so brand spanking new. Seems like a year I've been waiting for today. You let me go, I won't get in your way. Papa, won't you let me go to town with you? Papa, I'm feeling so down the blue. You just got to come around, please do. Papa, won't you let me go to town with you? You just got to come around, please do. Papa, won't you let me go to town with you? All right, I made up this ending. Check it out. Thank you. Pat and I walked down the aisle at the Methodist Church to this song as an instrumental. I can only give you love that lasts forever, and and the promise to be near each time you call. Oh my God, thank you. I love you too. And the only heart I own for you and you alone, that's all, that's all. I can only give you country walks in springtime and a hand to hold when leaves begin to fall, and a love whose burning light will warm your winter night. That's all, that's all. There are those, I'm sure, who have told you they would give you the world for a toy. All I have are these arms to enfold you, and love time can never destroy. So if you're wondering what I'm asking, baby, in return, dear, you'll be glad to know that my demands are small. Say it's me that you'll adore, both for now and evermore. That's all. That's all. Bergeson. There are those, I'm sure, who have told you they would give you the world, give you the world for a toy. All I have are these arms to enfold you, and love time can never destroy. So if you're wondering what I'm asking in return, dear, you'll be glad to know that my demands are small. Say it's me that you'll adore, both for now and evermore. That's all. 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 That's all it's all. Yeah, baby. We're going to leave you with my favorite song of all time. It was written by my friend Tom Sturdivant. It's available on the Annie and the Hot Club album. You can get an MP3 of it if you go online, or we have it on CD here tonight. So, but anyway, I'm Annie Sellick. This is Pat Bergeson, and
Thank you.
this is Music City Roots, folks.
We're very glad to be here. This is a fabulous event, and we've always enjoyed doing Music City Roots, and it's been great. And big hand to all the great performers who performed tonight and all the great people who've worked on this show. We've enjoyed it. Thank you.
Everybody's so amazing. It's such a treat. Love all of this. Listen to the singing of the robin in the meadow. Who knows if she's singing about the changes in the weather? Who knows if she's singing about the promises of heaven? But it sure sounds good to me. Oh, listen to the cooing of the baby in the cradle. Who knows if she's cooing 'cause the kitty's on the table? Who knows if she's cooing just because she's able? But it sure sounds good to me. Simply beautiful. Simply wonderful. Simply, life goes on. Life goes simply on and on. Oh, listen to the babbling of the little brook of falling. Who knows if she is babbling 'cause there's falling down the mountain? Who knows if she is babbling 'cause there's something she's forgotten? But it sure sounds good to me. I listen to the one I love with all of my heart. He's telling me he misses me when we are apart. He's telling me he loves me from the bottom of his heart, and that sure sounds good to me. Simply beautiful. Simply wonderful. Simply, life goes on.
Annie and Pat, good gosh. So beautiful, so intelligent, subtle beauty, man. We are going to do one more song, and this is a wonderful part of Music City Roots where we do a jam song, and no one really knows what the jam song is till about halfway through. So they're going to set up a couple of vocal stands. I think Pat's going to help out on guitar and hopefully that harmonica. And Johnny's going to play a little guitar. We're going to have some singing. And let me go get my axe, as they call it in the business. Oh, I'm supposed to throw to you, my brother, Mr. John Walker.
Hey, we're just having a good time up here. Have you enjoyed the show so far, everybody? Thank you so much for being here. Another magical night in the historic Monteagle Sunday School Assembly Barn. The new barn, I was told today, since the old one burned down and they rebuilt this in 1927. It's holding up pretty well. I'd like to thank our crew tonight. Andy Kern on audio, and of course Jacob Fugel mixing audio at the front of house. Robbie and Ryman and Jonathan on the cameras. Eric, the engineer in charge out there on the bus, by the way. This is being filmed. You can go home and watch it right now on live stream and on our YouTube channel. We encourage you to subscribe there. Of course, welcome to Jim Yockey, our illustrious director, joining us once again here on the mountain. Anthony Williams, stagehand Gabe Cantrell, Dirk Bouchot, working so hard to keep the stage running smoothly. And it's just been great to have the whole Music City Roots crew back together. We're not doing weekly shows right now, so it's kind of like a family reunion for us, and what better place to do it than in this magical place. And Greg, I really appreciate the historic tutorial. There's so much history here. That was like a nice little introduction to the, it's really something, isn't it?
It is, and this is on the National Historic Registry, too. Of course, y'all know that because you live here, but that's wonderful.
So as everyone's getting plugged in and ready to go, Craig's over there on the other side. Craig, what's going on these days in music news? As you are the music news editor, come on over here. Like when we're standing up here, all we hear is the echo coming off the back. So
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, so I was just saying, as the music news guy over at WMOT, what's going on? You got some stories coming up that you want to share?
I'm going on vacation for one thing, but hey, what I've left you with is the most recent show, The String, is a full hour with Buddy and Julie Miller. And if you love Americana music, if you love American roots music, if you love Nashville music, that's the first couple right there. And they've just put out their first record together in 10 years. Before that, it was 10 years before that. So while Buddy is super prolific, Buddy and Julie as a couple, they've finally put a new record out, and the world has been eagerly awaiting. In fact, it came out today. It's Friday, right, the 21st? Today's drop day, as we say in the biz. So, head on over to, it's a little hard, just find This String with Craig Havikhurst, and all the shows are lined up there. And then coming up, lovely young Caroline Spence will be on next week on Sunday morning. And come and visit WMOT.org. The news is always music news is front and center, and we'll keep it going. But I am happy to have a few days off. Yeah.
Well deserved. Well deserved. So, Greg, you guys are over there comparing notes. Are we ready to go yet? The impromptu jam, you're seeing some natural magic, impromptu, in person now. And Greg, are we good to go? What do we got? It's a big secret. What do we got going here tonight? You want to introduce the jam? Sure. Is it time? Are you ready?
Yeah, if y'all are ready.
I don't want to put y'all on the spot or anything.
First of all, John and Craig and AJ and the staff here, thank y'all for tonight, and thank y'all for coming and sticking around through all of this. It's been a wonderful night. It's my job to pick out a song, and when I was growing up, there was a band called Little Feat, and this song came from a man named Lyle George, and it's called Willin'.
Kicked by the wind, driven by the snow, drunk and dirty, but don't you know that I'm still willing? Out on a highway late last night, thinking about Alice, with every headlight Dallas, Dallas, Alice. And I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, to Hatchapee to Tonopah, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made, driven the back roads so I wouldn't get away. And if you give me wheat, whites, and wine, and you show me a sign that you're willing. Pat, play us a little guitar.
Kicked by the wind, dropped by the sleet, had my head stowed in, I'm still on my feet and I'm still willing.
I've been kicked by the wind, dropped by the sleet, had my head stowed off and I'm still on my feet and I'm still willing. I'll do the right verse, yeah.
And I've been
From Tucson to Tucumcari,
living every kind of rig that's ever been made, driven the back roads so I wouldn't get away. And if you give me wheat, whites, and wine, and you show me a sign that you're willing. Okay, stay in G. We're gonna do something weird right now, D. We're gonna have a glockenspiel on a Little Feat song. Start now. I'll hit it, my man. One more time. Mr. Pat, would you play a lead guitar? One more verse. Well, I smuggled some smokes and smokes from Mexico, baked by the sun every time I go to Mexico. And I am still, last time, and I've been from Tucson to Tucumcari, to Tehachapi to Tonopah, driven every kind of rig that's ever been made. I driven the back roads so I wouldn't get weighed. And if you give me weak white sand wine, and you show me a sign that you're willing to keep moving, Music City Roots, the staff, to all the artists on stage, we thank you all for coming out. We thank you all for coming out. One more time. Okay, G. And we're going to end it with the heart.
How about
Thanks,
that,
Greg.
y'all? Music City Roots is a production of Hang Die Media. Don't forget to visit our sister show down the mountain all weekend long, Bluegrass Underground at the Caverns with Keller Williams tomorrow night and Sunday too. From high atop Monteagle Mountain, I'm John Walker. Good night.
That's show business. Yeah, they can.